Hey guys, this is John here in Los Angeles with the Alpha Channel update for Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. And today we have Aeon Flux number 4. I have more shirts than I do Aeon comics actually. Most of them are from the cartoon. But this one is from the movie. So I got this way back when. I'm sure on eBay or some such thing. But this is Aeon Flux number 4 by Timothy Green is the artist. I don't know who they've got credited as the writer. I should look. Script, Mike Kennedy. I don't know him from anything. I do have to give it up again. Okay, so this episode is a little less good than the previous ones, but this is a prequel episode for a movie. And this is a movie at the beginning of the culture war, so they have to empower people like this black girl here, who in real life are probably completely unaccomplished. I'm going to be an asshole racist today, so if you don't want to deal with that, just fucking turn it off. Today I saw Justice Report news out of Minnesota where some black guy murdered a 14-year-old white girl. That does not happen the other way. White guys are not murdering black people, but we will, and we will have the best race war that you guys have ever seen. It's coming. As soon as the power and the lights go out, you guys know it's coming. The race war is coming, and you're not going to get out of it. Y'all better pray they don't make any mistakes in Washington, D.C. Whether it's Trump or Kamala, it doesn't matter. Your bigger problems now are China and Russia and North Korea and Iran. For the G's anyhow, Iran. So what's going on here? Aeon and her handler are having a conversation about whether or not Sithandra was the mole. And it turns out that she's not. Because this is Sithandra here being tortured by the bad guys. And this is also here in the beginning being tortured by the bad guys. This is that black girl. She's torturing Sithandra. So Sithandra's innocent. Someone else is the mole. Aeon's handler tells her this. And Aeon's like, okay, well then I have to rescue Sithandra. And this is her doing it. And Sithandra's curious as to why she's there. And so then the script's not very good. They have some banter back and forth about whether or not Aeon's a good teacher or whether or not Sithandra's a good student. Aeon seems like she's never been tasked with teaching before. It's not something that comes naturally. I like the logo on this one. It's something you have to either have a knack for or be taught how to do. You have to be taught how to craft lesson plans, or you have to just naturally understand it. It's kind of like writing and drawing. And even if you do naturally understand it, there's still a lot more to be learned. Not everyone learns the same way. What you naturally understand is how you learn. But if none of your students learn that way, your teaching that way won't be any good. So here, Aeon has thrown this red packet up over this giant vat of herbicide. I guess that's what you would call it. It's a defoliant, a plant defoliant, and it'll make it corrosive to metal. But it gets caught up on that little bar up there, and then Sithandra has to, she doesn't have to, she just does. She goes up on her own, whereas Aeon takes out one of these little throwing darts. Sithandra gets shot, manages to still hold on. Aeon takes out a little throwing dart and pierces the packet, which she could have done without Sithandra going up there. And meanwhile, there's this threat that if Sithandra falls in there, it will dissolve her to the last, whatever. It'll dissolve her body before she hits the bottom. And Aeon hits the packet and it mixes with the defoliant, makes it corrosive to metal, it melts the vat, and now Sithandra can drop down. We know in real life no one could have held on that long to a tiny little bar, but it's a comic book. In a comic book, everyone with skills is a superhero. So they get out, Aeon visits with her handler, and her handlers, basically they do a all's well that ends well sort of ending. We didn't get everything we wanted, but we got some of what we wanted, and something's better than nothing. Here's some fan art. And that is it for Dark Horse's Aeon Flux. Tomorrow we'll do the last one of God Country. I haven't read it yet, but I've got it. It's here. It's waiting for you guys. And yeah, Aeon Flux. That was a big influential thing with me. That cartoon sent me to art school, sent me to animation school. So today we have the Yggdrasil card deck. And today's card is the Son of Thunder, Thor. The deity of protection, fertility, and what is this other one? It says it right here. Strength. Strength, fertility, and protection. I like how he's riding Jormungandr, the serpent wrapped around the roots of the world tree, Yggdrasil. You can see his face down there, the big snake face. It's a pretty good card. These are getting shorter and shorter as I have less and less to say. And we're just looking at, I didn't point out any of the art to you guys, but specifically, you can see what you like as well as I can. I don't have to tell you. This picture of Aeon's face is really nice, The way he does faces is unique. I did notice, it's not really a complaint, he does draw the same profile. Okay, so look at this profile down here on this page near the bottom. He does a very French sort of Western European. I've seen this in French people, like French profiles. It'd be interesting to know where he's from. He does get black noses down really well. Like this black girl's nose is perfect. I kind of tend to draw white noses. Black noses look different. And as an artist, you sort of notice these things. Here's the French faces, though. Check this out. Here, look at this. Look at this one. The Francis McDormand character. I saw someone on YouTube, a sculptor, who had sculpted this Norse sort of Viking face. And he showed it one image, and then he dropped it, and he showed it looking dropped. And it looked African. There's no way to say it. Anyhow, this art down here at the bottom, this is a really great panel. Look, when I talked about the race war, you guys know it's coming. There's nothing any one person like I can do or say to change the entire world's mind about that. And I watched this video yesterday about a banker in England who had done really well in math in school and went to Oxford and went to LSE, I guess, London School of Economics. And at like 20 or I want to say even younger than that, he got a job trading. Might have been as young as I can't imagine he was as young as 18, but it's possible. He could have been. I think in England they get out of school earlier than we do in the States. In the States at 18, you'd just be out of high school. He might have been out of college by then. And he got his job trading for Citibank by winning a card game that they held. Citibank would hold a certain kind of cards that's like trading. A game that it's like 3 rounds, and the person who won all 3 rounds would get a job. And the 3rd round was fixed against him. It was a Kobayashi Maru sort of test. And he didn't win, but he played it the way they wanted to see him play it. And basically he bluffed. He got the lowest card he could get, and he bluffed anyhow. And he realized when they flipped the cards over that he'd been cheated, and that if he'd played it safe, that they wouldn't have taken him. He got the job because he took the risk. And he didn't really have a lot to lose either. Theoretically, in a contest, there's nothing to lose. You can bet everything because you came in with nothing. You had nothing on the line. So, why not go all out? And he did the right thing. He made the right call. He was a trader for only 6 years. 1 year he lost $8 million in 1 week when the interest rates changed in Sweden on a bet he had against some, leveraged assets there. So it's really interesting. I'm getting into crypto arbitrage. I'm really fascinated. I made a lot of money in Bitcoin and Ethereum in the late 2015 to 2017. Basically, when 2017, when that peak happened, I cashed out and paid a bunch of rent with it because I really needed the money. and I did really well. And the problem with the investments are great if you have a stable stream of income. If you don't have a stable stream of income, you have to go on to your investments, and in which case they're not investments anymore, they're liquid. So, once your stable stream of income gets upset, your investments go out the window. So that's where I'm at. And it's kind of interesting. It's kind of fun. I'm in one account that's up a lot, but I can't make any withdrawals from it. And I suspect it may be fraudulent. It doesn't really matter because I just got into another group that is showing every week they pick a different stable coin and go all in on it together and make the price raise. So that I'm really excited about, because that I don't need someone else to, I'm not putting it in an account where someone else manages it. I'm managing the funds myself. I'm just listening to what they say, and it's like when they did the GameStop bit. It's like that. So I'm really excited about that because they're showing, I've only been watching them for 2 weeks, and they've done 2 coins, and I can go back and watch the old ones too. But I've watched these 2 new ones, and they've done 2 coins that have blown up to like 800%, and then they let go and move on to something else the next week. So I'm pretty interested in that. That should be pretty good. My idea with that is, what I'm going to do with that, we'll see. I'm just going to start small and invest a lump sum, and then take the lump sum out plus half of the profit, and leave half of the profit behind in whatever coin it is to see if it still goes up later. We'll see. I was listening to this banker who recommended to his friends, he got out of trading before COVID hit, and his friends were asking him what should they do with this extra cash they had, and he told them to get into gold, and they did. They got into gold, but when it did well, they got excited and took risks they shouldn't have and ended up losing everything. And they would have been up 15%, but they got excited and got greedy, and I did that already once, and not really greedy. I made a mistake, and I got locked into a trade for more than I could afford, and that money's still locked up. I have money locked up in another account that I just don't know how to get it out of. Crypto's dangerous because it feels like a whole bunch of tide pools that could have gold in them, but you could also just wander around a lot and get your feet cut on the coral or something. I don't know, that's not a really good analogy. Anyhow, I am here to promote Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. First one, Legacy of a Mad Scientist, is about Ashley and her brother Jeff. The first half of this book is about their father, Andrew Fox, who creates, when he's really young, a healing compound for one of his friends who gets hurt. And then he creates cyber tanks for the government. And then he creates a mind-to-computer interface called the Micronics. And it wakes up, it becomes sentient. And so in this, the government decides that they are better custodians of Dr. Fox's creations than he is. And so they execute him. They go after his children who are in possession of said items, mostly this Micronics amplifier. And Ashley and Jeff have to go on the run. They get some help, and ultimately they end up as orphans at the Angel City Orphanage and Juvenile Detention Facility, District 13 in Angel City, the future of Los Angeles. And here Ashley has to unite a bunch of gangs, teenage gangs, against the serial killers who run the place. And eventually she ends up becoming a Valkyrie in a comic book in the PDF. These are both audiobooks here in the description, and they're free ebooks on Smashwords. You can buy, I think the ebooks are $1 on Amazon, or they're like, I don't know, $20, I think, 18 maybe for the paperbacks. But yeah, check them out if you're interested, if you have time, if you're a fiction addict like I am, which is why I'm doing this. I'm getting a lot out of it. Last night I wrote what my friend claims probably one of the best chapters for a new story yet. And I think I just broke 30,000 words. I have to check that. But I'm at about 60, 70 pages, so it's pretty good. It was a good chapter. It didn't follow the rules of a chapter. Well, like every scene, every story, every scene is supposed to be life and death changing. Not a matter of life and death, The character's life can never be the same after the scene. That's rule number one. The main character has to make the decisions, rule number two. So in this scene, which every scene is a short story, I'm writing this book really in chapters, like groups of scenes that are kind of short stories. And in this one, the main character gets ambushed by some superiors who demand why he isn't ratting out his division head more regularly and with greater detail. And this is kind of the job of every first sergeant and XO in any military organization. Their job is to take notes on the commanding officer and report back to the superiors when asked. They're not supposed to jump the chain of command with problems, but they very often behave as unofficial observers of the command. And so he gets braced by these guys, and it's a shakeup for the audience. It's a great scene for the audience, but he doesn't really, other than standing out to them and not being in any way submissive, it doesn't really change his life. But to the audience, it totally changes everything for the audience, because now the audience understands that this group, this A-team, is not that they could have enemies within. Any of the other members could be a traitor too, any or all. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's fun for me. So I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you're having a great summer. I hope you're doing the best work of your life, which is, money can't buy this for me, right? Like, my life is stable. If I had more money, that wouldn't change one bit the work that I'm doing right now. So yeah, please get to that place if you're not there now. All right, talk to you later. Bye.